Hi, this is He Speaks with Kate. I'm your host, Kate Law, and with me again today is my producer extraordinaire and owner of RedSkyRecordings.com of Santa Ana, Omar Duenas.
Hi, Kate. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm kind of pumped up.
I'm pumped up too because I think we're going to hear a lot of who you are in this one for sure.
Oh, just keep me, just keep me on track. Because sometimes that ego monster starts coming back. It's like when I start sounding a little bit too puffed up, you remember,
Yeah.
kick me in the shins.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Well,
Can
no,
you just kick
not
me?
from here. I'd have to get up and do it, but no.
And has anyone walked in with a straitjacket yet? Because
No, not yet.
Okay, so after that first show. This is episode number 2. And coming up today, we're going to talk about how, since the title of the podcast is He Speaks, and that's God speaks to us, I like to share some stories about how I couldn't hear him and how in my early 20s, I had a very powerful, he was getting $3 million a year radio personality, looked me in the eye and told me I had some issues.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get into this.
Let's do it.
So stay with us. Anyway, it's about authority issues.
Okay.
And then how we're going to wrap around at the end and tie it in with I was in Bible school and bam, authority came up again and how we're to pray for those in authority over us. So I think it's going to be a good show. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about my background. By the time I got to KROQ, I had been on a few radio stations, Bakersfield, Fresno, even a little stint at in Long Beach at KNAC and KNAC. And then I am over at KROQ, and I just seemed to, I didn't know the Lord, so I'm just doing what everyone else is doing. And it was the station, that was this station to be at. Then I went to San Diego for 5 years, doing broadcasting down there over the border at 91X mornings.
Really?
And I came back to KROQ. I took Freddie Snakeskin's shift. So we're looking at 89, 90. And I did the 6 to 9 p.m. slot. Playing wonderful music. I'd get off, go to the nightclubs, everything's free. Usually do some other gigs, we're paid cash. Then get up the next day, I'd go skiing in the company van locally or sunbathe, do whatever I want. It was footloose, fancy free. And something happened one day. A poor man, Jim Trenton, went into the boss's office. He had been newly married, and I guess his wife was complaining that she didn't see him enough, and he wanted my shift.
Okay.
And so, they just, the boys club, they just gave him my shift. And it's like, now I'm 9 to midnight. It kind of bothered me. Well, at that same time, Scott Shannon, 100.3, ironically, it's K-Love right now, that frequency.
That's right.
Christian radio broadcasting, which I listen to. But 100.3 pirate radio with Scott Shannon, I got a call saying that he was interested for me being his co-host. And I'm over at the cool station.
Right.
KROQ was cool.
Yeah.
Pirate was this kind of top 40, the disc jockeys, I call it puking. They talk really fast. And it's just like, I don't even think I can do that.
Yeah.
And money has a way of persuading you. He just had me down, and Scott Shannon was charming from New York. Big name. $3 million a year he was getting. He said, Kate, you have your own parking space, and we have our own studio.
Wow.
I don't know why I don't have any pictures, but it was on the 9th floor of the CNN building, Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, I've been there, yeah.
So ready? It's like, but we had our own studio, and it looked like a spaceship. It took up, 5 times the size of this room. And the board, I was doing the board. Wow. So I was a board. And all the other DJs had some other room. No one touched this board for us. It was just our place. And it overlooked, of course, Hollywood.
Of course.
And we got there so early in the morning, so you got to see the sunrise.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's pretty impressive. It really strokes your ego. I went back to KROQ to my boss and said they've offered me a job. He just looked me in Trip Reap, said, Kate, we like you. You'll always have a job here, but you'll be making 2.5 times what I'm making right now. And, but if you leave, you can't come back.
Wow.
And so I went to church that weekend and I was asking all my friends, I'm a new believer,
At this point, you're a
new believer. And I said, what should I do? Pray for me. What should
Yeah.
I do? Should I have this job? And they're kind of looking at me like, there's people dying in the world,
Right.
like, oh, Kate, you break my heart. So anyway, I couldn't hear God's voice back then.
Mhm.
I was new believer. God speaks. I wanted to preface this where the name of the show is God Speaks. He speaks to us through his word. He speaks to us through the pastor, through worship, through non-believers and believers, through circumstances, through nature. He kind of gets his point across to us.
Right.
So anyway, but I couldn't hear him at all. So it poses the question,
Mhm.
this is what I want to ask you, Omar. Does God really care what we do for a living?
Wow. That's a deep question.
I'm not going to zap you because I don't have the answer, but what do you think?
I think God does care.
But would you be upset if you were trying to supplement your income and you're a bartender down the street?
That's a good question. I don't think my answer to that is no. I don't think he would be
Okay.
upset.
I don't know. I think he cares more about. I heard this saying. I love sayings. Someone said this to me, and I don't know if it's I don't know if it's true, but I want it to be true.
Mhm.
Love God and do what you want. How's that? Just think about that for a second. No, Omar, think about this for a second. I'm serious about this.
Yeah.
If you love him,
Okay.
you're not going to go flat out and, make him look bad. And, I kind of like that one. Love God and do what you want.
Right.
All right. So I'm at Pirate Radio. I said yes to him. The money, I was greedy. I took it. I took the bait.
It was I can't say no to this money situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so guess what? In hindsight, I wish I hadn't, but I did.
Okay.
So guess what? Someone please grasp this. When someone pays you a lot of money,
Mhm.
you're going to earn it.
Huh.
It came out in high stress. My dentist was saying, Kate, what have you been doing lately? I said, why? Your molars, you're grinding them down. In my sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
And stress. And, morning drive, a new radio station, El Diablo, Scott Shannon, Kate in the
Yeah.
morning. And it's like so much pressure. And so
Mhm.
you earned it. It came out in
Right.
your body. And it's like, yeah, they're going to pay you a lot of money, but you're going to pay for it.
Right. Right.
Probably shortened my life a few years. But it's just, I'm telling you, it was just hard. I just wanted out of there.
Yeah.
I just wanted out. I didn't like it. I was miserable. And Scott Janet, Scott, I love you. I really do. You're very talented. But he was God.
Yeah.
Everyone brown-nosed him. Everyone just couldn't tell him the truth. Everyone was just treating him like, and I walked into this office one day
Mhm.
and a big desk, and I said, I quit.
Wow.
I just said I quit. And he looked at me. He's got the most beautiful blue eyes, but this time he looked like El Diablo. He goes, you can't. And he looked at me, pointing his finger, and goes, you have got issues with authority, issues with men. And, that's just a memory that is etched in my mind. We're going to wrap around to authority.
Yeah.
Where when I was thinking about some of the topics for the show and how someone might benefit from some of the things that the Lord has actually spoken to me,
Mhm.
it was, I don't know, about 4 years ago. I'm in Romans. I
Yeah.
don't know if you're familiar with the book of Romans.
I am familiar with the book of Romans. Yeah.
How about that part where it says, pray for those in authority?
That is one of those verses it's really hard.
But that's obviously president down, mayor, governor,
Right. That's
but
one example.
police,
Mhm.
fire,
Yep.
teacher,
Yep.
parent, boss, and it's
Yeah.
like it doesn't say if you agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say if you like them.
Yeah.
And I'm highly offended. I mean, I'm in a Bible class. I'm in a Bible school. I'm in Romans. It's like, dang. It's like, don't you know that he's coming down on the cracking the tax code on the Christian organizations? Don't you know that I don't agree with this? And it's like in my journal that night, I just remember sitting there saying, wow, this Bible, no wonder people hate it.
Yeah.
Because it's very offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this question, because I'm interested.
Okay.
What's been your process of
Uh-huh.
getting, because God speaks to you,
Uh-huh.
and it's been a long time since that time.
Oh my gosh, you know something, you're getting at the root.
Right.
Okay. I feel like I'm on the sofa here. No, the actual the root is my father. My father was an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
He had been married 5 times before. He was very verbally abusive to my mom, and when I was 10 he left. And so there's a wound there.
Yeah.
And let's just put it to you this way. Basic trust broken.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to say I was a man hater,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I was a man hater.
Right.
It not sexually, but like, you're not going to tell me what to do. I was
Right.
raised independent.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, I mean, can you kind of tell that I'd be kind of hard to be married to?
I'm not going to say yeah. I'm just going to nod my head and agree with you.
But I mean, I know I'm not the only one,
Right,
because
right,
there's
right.
some strong women out there.
Mhm.
They don't need a man.
Yeah.
They got their career. Heck, I can even do plumbing.
Yeah.
I can change some seats. I'm just learned to do that. But what I'm just saying is that I bought the feminist lie,
Mm-hmm.
that would equal happiness.
Right.
And it didn't for me.
Yeah.
You can still be a strong woman
Mm-hmm.
and get the job done, use your gifts, but not be obnoxious.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's what I would want.
That's awesome.
Okay, so humble self, pray for those in authority. That's what he speaks. And that's the final word. And I just want to say thank you, Omar. Thank you from RedSkyRecordings.com and Santa Ana for really putting up with me and recording this. And thank you for listening to He Speaks with Kate. And we will see you next time. And until then, listen, because he does want to speak to you.